Okay, so I'm aware that I'm super late. We got less than 24 hours before the fight starts, but I'm gonna do this anyway. I'm a big fan of arm wrestling. I'm a big fan of strongman, and I'm a really big fan of combat sports. We got them all in one here. First time ever, probably the only time ever. So I decided, screw it, I'm gonna make a video. So we got Devon Larratt, one of the greatest arm wrestlers of all time. In my opinion, I think in most people's opinion. He's from Victoria. I'm from Victoria. Might be a little bit biased. Definitely hoping he wins this fight. Don't know if he's actually going to. I'll get into that in a second. And then we got Hafthor Bjornsson, also known as the Mountain, 2018 World's Strongest Man. Broke Eddie Hall's deadlift world record by 1 kilogram at 501 kilograms, which is just outrageous. He's gone through a crazy transformation in terms of his body composition since then. But let's get into the actual boxing. So first thing, easiest thing to look at is Hafthor's exhibition bouts. He's had 2 of them, so we can kind of see where he's at, how he's improved in between those, where we think he's going to be now. I thought he looked horrific in his first exhibition fight. He'd been training for quite a while at that point, I believe 6 months maybe. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure, but it was not impressive at all. Throwing haymakers, looked like he was underwater. Footwork wasn't great. There was nothing impressive about it. It was pretty terrible. However, between his first and his second exhibition bout, there was drastic improvements. Primarily his defense. He had his hands up the entire time. He was looking to parry and just looked more comfortable, more composed in there. I thought he did a much better job conserving his energy. And while he was wild at times, I think overall he just looked like a better boxer, more technical, and just there was huge improvements between those 2 bouts. Now, his last exhibition fight was, I'm pretty sure, over 4 months ago now. So expect to see every bit as big of improvements from that second exhibition fight to now as there were from the first to the second exhibition fight. I think you have to put a lot of credit to his coach, give a lot of credit to his coach there. If you looked at Eddie Hall, who he was supposed to fight initially, and Hafthor in the first videos they were releasing, right when they were both signed the contract a year and a half ago now, I thought it was very clear that it looked like Eddie Hall was just going to destroy him. I don't think it was going to be a close fight. Hit way harder, seemed a lot faster, just more athletic, more coordinated. His timing was better. Everything was just better. And he's much more aggressive. So if they had that fight in the first month or 2, I don't think it would have been close. I think Eddie would have marched him into a corner and just battered him until Hafthor quit. That's just my honest opinion. But things have changed. This coach that Hafthor has been doing all the right things. We see he started with basics, fundamentals, and he's improved a great deal over the year and a half. Or I guess we don't know how much he's improved over that year and a half, but we know how much he's improved over those first 2 exhibition bouts. So I have high expectations, I'm not going to lie. Now, as for his opponent, Devon Larratt, Devon's only trained for 5 weeks for this fight. He has 5 weeks total of boxing training. Now, granted, it's at TriStar, probably the best gym he could choose. He dedicated himself as much as humanly possible. He was living in the dorms at the gym. He was working with Faraz Sahabi, one of the best MMA coaches in the game, if not the best. And he's doing everything he could. He's doing everything right. But it's 5 weeks, guys. 5 weeks is not enough time to prepare for a fight like this. I don't care who you are. Unless you have crazy physical advantages over your opponent, it's not enough time when you're fighting somebody who's been training for 16 months straight, and they've been dedicated to, as we know with Thor. I don't like Devon's chances. I mean, if you watch his sparring, he looks very slow. He plods, very flat-footed. The lack of explosiveness is very, very clear to me. There's no fluidity in his motions, which is going to happen when you pick up a sport late, but also when you're 46 years old. I don't see anybody talking about that. He's 46 years old, guys. He's fighting a guy who's 32. Oh, and age doesn't matter? Did you guys see Holyfield just get absolutely destroyed by Vitor Belfort like a week ago? Like, it matters. That was the best example of age, like, ruining a fighter I've ever seen. He couldn't keep balance. He was knocking himself down just from the momentum of his own punches. Age matters. Age matters a lot. And Devon doesn't have age on his side, and Devon doesn't have any experience on his side. He doesn't have any of the physical advantages on his side. He's going to have a shorter reach, especially with his little crooked arms. Can't throw a jab as a result of that. His jab is like that because he can't move. He doesn't have any mobility in his arms. It's not looking good for him. And I hear other people saying, well, he was in the Canadian Special Forces. He was a combat instructor in the Canadian Special Forces. And while it matters to an extent, it's good to have combat experience. There's no question Devon's mentally strong. I would certainly argue he's mentally stronger than his opponent here in Hafthor Bjornsson. But your mentality only means so much. If your body doesn't do what you want it to do, it doesn't really matter. I don't think, well, you just look at MMA. Just look at MMA fighters transitioning to boxing. It doesn't work that well. If you watch any of Jake Paul's fights against Tyron Woodley, against Ben Askren, like, there's a difference in sports. And there's no training of boxing in Devon Larratt's past. There's keeping distance, there's working with weapons, there's whatever, but it's not specifically boxing. And keep in mind, he hasn't done any of that stuff in 15 plus years anyway. I just personally see no advantages for Devon Larratt here. And I want him to win. I'm a much bigger fan of Devon Larratt than Thor. I'm not even a fan of Thor. But Thor is bigger, he's faster, he's stronger, he's younger, he's a better boxer, he's better prepared, he's got a better coach. The list goes on and on and on. And when I say better coach, just look at, like, the chemistry you're going to have with your coach over 16 months versus 5 weeks. And then you got to keep in mind that he started working with Frost, then he started working with Zach. He hasn't even had the same coach that whole time. I see very little chance of Devon doing much anything in this fight. Hafthor weighs 50 pounds heavier than him in the weigh-ins, on top of which he was in much better physical condition in terms of body composition than Devon. I don't see how anybody could think Devon's going to win this fight. That's just my personal opinion. If you guys disagree, please let me know down below. I know there's not going to be much time because the fight is in like 20 hours from now. But let me know your thoughts. If you think I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. I'm very confident, honestly. I don't see Devon having much of a chance. I hope he wins. I really do. I just don't see it. So, yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I hope you enjoyed, and tune into the fight.